You ever feel like you have all the answers? Like your education, your experience, your expertise makes you the smartest person in the room? Maybe you've dismissed someone's advice because they didn't have the right credentials. Maybe you've been so busy being an expert that you stopped being a student. Maybe you've learned the hard way that sometimes the best teachers don't have degrees. They have something better: experience. Here's what David Chen discovered when his $80,000 BMW broke down in the middle of nowhere. Wisdom doesn't come with a certificate. And sometimes the mechanic in coveralls knows more about solving your problem than you do with your MBA. This is the story of how an unexpected teacher taught an expert that knowing everything is the fastest way to learn nothing. David was 35, freshly minted MBA from a top 10 program, business consultant at a firm that charged clients $5,000 a day for his expertise. He specialized in operational efficiency and business strategy. He had frameworks for everything: scaling, optimization, market penetration, synergy. He spoke fluent corporate and genuinely believed his education gave him answers to problems most people couldn't even see. He was driving to meet a struggling manufacturing client in rural Montana when his engine started making sounds money shouldn't make. By the time he pulled over, steam was pouring from the hood and his dashboard looked like a Christmas tree of warning lights. Middle of nowhere, no cell service, just a faded sign half a mile back: Joe's Garage, 2 miles. David walked. By the time he reached Joe's Garage, he was sweating through his suit, carrying his leather briefcase like armor against the reality that his expensive car had betrayed him in the worst possible place. The garage was exactly what he expected: ancient, cluttered, a single bay, tools that looked older than him. And Joe himself, maybe 65, coveralls with more stains than fabric, working on a truck that probably predated the internet. Help you? Joe didn't look up from the engine. My car broke down about 2 miles back. I need it fixed immediately. I have an important meeting. David pulled out his phone. Still no service, and his frustration leaked into his voice. How fast can you get to it? Joe straightened up slowly, wiped his hands on a rag that made them dirtier, and looked at David like a doctor examining a patient. What kind of car? BMW 7 Series, 2023. And you drove it how hard to get here? David hesitated. I was in a hurry. Joe nodded slowly. Always are. Let me guess. Engine overheated? Warning lights you ignored because you were too important to stop? David felt his face flush. Can you fix it or not? Can fix anything. Question is whether you'll learn anything from it. Joe grabbed his keys. Come on, let's see what you did to that fancy machine. They drove back in Joe's ancient pickup. When they got to the BMW, Joe popped the hood and spent 5 minutes just looking, touching, listening. Finally, he said, "You've been running this engine too hard without checking what it needs. Coolant's empty, belt's worn, oil's dirty. You ignored every warning sign until it forced you to stop." He looked at David. Sound familiar? I maintain my car, David said defensively. You pay someone to maintain your car, not the same thing. You probably don't even open the hood between services. Just expect it to work because you paid for quality. Joe started inspecting deeper. Gonna need a tow back to the shop. This isn't a roadside fix, and it's gonna take time. How much time? 5, 6 hours, maybe more. I don't have 6 hours. I have a meeting in 3. Joe closed the hood. Then you better call your client, because this car isn't going anywhere fast, and neither are you. David spent the first hour in Joe's tiny office, pacing, trying to get cell service, failing, finally calling his client from Joe's landline to reschedule. He was furious at the car, at Joe, at the universe for inconveniencing them. Joe worked steadily, unhurried, occasionally explaining what he was doing in terms David didn't fully understand but pretended to. By hour 2, David's anger faded into boredom. He sat on a folding chair watching Joe work, answering emails on his laptop using Joe's Wi-Fi. That's when Joe said something that stopped him. "See this belt?" Joe held up a worn, cracked piece of rubber. "This is what happens when you push without maintaining basics. It works fine until it doesn't. Then everything stops." He glanced at David. "Your client, the manufacturing one? They having problems with sudden breakdowns, equipment failures, production stops?" David stared. "How did—" "Because you're making the same mistake they are. Pushing hard, ignoring maintenance, surprised when things break. I see it in your car. Bet I'd see it in their factory." Joe returned to the engine. "You consultants love talking about scaling and optimization, but you skip the boring stuff. Maintenance, foundation, checking the basics before you push harder. You put the cart before the horse, then wonder why nothing moves." David felt something uncomfortable twist in his chest. His client's problems flashed through his mind. Unexpected equipment failures, production line stoppages, cascading problems. His recommended solution had been about efficiency improvements and workflow optimization. Had he missed something obvious? "So what would you do?" David asked quietly. "Stop. Diagnose. Fix the basics. Then, and only then, push forward." Joe pointed at the engine. "Your coolant was empty. Simple fix, cost $20, but you didn't check, so you overheated. That damaged your head gasket. Now it's a $2,000 repair. Small problem ignored becomes big problem forced. True for engines, true for businesses, true for life." David spent the next 3 hours learning more about business than his MBA ever taught him. Joe didn't use corporate jargon. He used engine parts. The cooling system was managing stress before it becomes crisis. The oil was maintaining relationships. The belts were basic operations, unglamorous but essential. The warning lights were signals everyone ignores until forced to pay attention. Every repair became a metaphor. Every explanation revealed something David had been too expert to see. Finally, Joe closed the hood. "You're good to go. Coolant's full, belts replaced, oil's changed. Should run fine now." "But David," Joe looked at him seriously, "this car will break again if you keep treating it the same way. And so will your client's business if you keep giving them fancy solutions to simple problems." He handed David a bill. $200, half of what you'd pay in the city and twice the lesson. David paid, then asked, "Joe, can I ask, why are you here, running a garage in the middle of nowhere?" Joe smiled. "Because I retired here. Built 3 businesses, sold them all, made more money than I needed. Spent 20 years being so smart I was stupid. Then I lost it all trying to prove I was smarter than the market. Made it back by doing simple things well. Now I fix cars because I love it. And occasionally I fix consultants who forgot that wisdom doesn't need credentials." David drove away slowly, checking his mirrors, feeling the engine respond smoothly. When he finally reached his client the next day, he threw away his optimization framework and asked one simple question. "When's the last time you did basic maintenance?" 3 months later, the client's production was up 40%. Not from new systems, from fixing neglected basics. David sent Joe a thank you note and a check for $5,000, the price of 1 day of his consulting, the value of a lesson that changed everything. David never forgot Joe's garage. Whenever he caught himself overcomplicating solutions, he remembered a 65-year-old mechanic in coveralls explaining business with a worn belt and simple truth. The best teachers don't always have credentials. Sometimes they have something better: experience, humility, and the wisdom to know that simple answers to simple problems work better than complex answers to everything. Your next teacher might not have a degree. They might have grease on their hands and wisdom in their words. Don't miss the lesson because you're too busy being the expert.